How's it going, guys? RNG Life here, and today we're talking about a new set that has been leaked. So we're already looking at Electric Overload, which is a new set that is featuring the XYZ Dragon Cannon. Alright, and this set is looking really cool. I am seeing all the URs and SRs, at least those, that are showing up, and I gotta say, some of these look crazy. Alright, first of all, let's go ahead and start talking about them, I guess one by one. Talk about like the cool URs and SRs. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with, looks like this set is gonna bring a lot of unions, since the set boss card is XYZ Dragon Cannon. So I mean, I think that's gonna be a thing. It's kind of weird. I heard that they're bringing Xyz, and I thought it was gonna be like the legit like Xyz synchros, whatever. But no. Okay, we're getting XYZ Dragon Cannons and all that stuff. So that might be an interesting deck because they don't need polymerization to fuse, and they can also destroy things. So I think that might be a pretty cool archetype. First, we're looking at Heavy Mech Support Armor. And this card definitely supports the whole Union archetype, or not really archetype, but the whole Union type in general. But it does state, when this card is normal summon, you can target one Union monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Once per turn, you can either target one machine type monster you control, equip this card to the target, or unequip this card to special summon it. Your opponent cannot target a monster equipped with this card with card effects. Also, the equipped monster, if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. This one looks, by itself, doesn't look that great. But when you take into account all the Union support that's going to be in the game with XYZ Dragon Cannons and all that stuff, it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, it's definitely going to use some whole special summon shenanigans, and it's going to be able to equip to them. So, I mean, I can see why this card is a UR. Alright, moving on. I'm also looking at another UR on here. It looks like we're getting Unions, and we're also getting Ice Barriers. I'm sure a lot of you guys might have heard of Asian Eyes White Dragon. He's someone I've been following for a really long time, and he's got like a running joke, like a whole meme going on. He just talks trash about Ice Barriers. Ice Barriers are terrible, and they're coming to Duel Links. I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and look at the first one. It's a UR, and it's General Ryo of the Ice Barrier. 2100 attack, so it's not like I guess overpowered in the boss department, but we're gonna read its effect. And it says, when an effect resolves that was activated by an effect monster that was on your opponent's side of the field, they must discard one card, or the effect is negated. Okay, so their choice. So they have to choose whether they want their effect to be activated or to keep the cards in their hand, which, I mean, so basically if they want to activate their effects, they better be pitching cards. I don't know if that's going to be, I mean, I think it's an interesting effect, but it's only a 2100 monster. I guess you could put it in defense. It's got 2300 defense, but I'm pretty sure it can be blown up pretty easy. It just stops monster effects. But I don't know, it might be interesting to see Ice Barriers becoming like a meta or something, which I highly doubt. But speaking of meta, there is something I really want to talk about. A thing that's going to be extremely huge in Duel Links. I think this card has the potential to be possibly the new meta. And I speak from experience because in TCG it was wreaking havoc. We're getting Treeborn Frog, which is insane. I mean, we're getting Treeborn Frog. If you guys don't know of the legend of Treeborn Frog, basically this card, it's a pretty weak card in general. It's a level 100 water. I mean, it's just a little frog with wings. And the thing about this frog is, I'm just gonna read the effect. During your standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard and you do not control a Treeborn Frog, you can special summon this card. You must control no spell or trap cards to activate and resolve this effect. So basically, play a deck with no back row, and you can have all the tribute fodder you want. That's what this is saying. If you can get, like, I mean, I do see it. It is a UR, and I think you would need more than one to make the deck work. but Treeborn Frog in the game, I know when it was in the TCG, they combined it with Monarchs. And it was Frog Monarchs. It was really OP. Everyone was scared of it. It was annoying. It was like a cancer. And, well, guess what else came out? We also got some more Monarch support. Alright, we also got, we also have another Monarch that came into the game called Angmarl, the Fiendish Monarch. And this card actually looks pretty good. I mean, I gotta say, this card looks pretty strong. So, it is a level 6 Dark Fiend. So, I mean, it is a Fiend. It's got that Fiend support in its corner. And its effect is, when this card is tribute summoned, you can banish one spell card from your graveyard, add one card with the same name as the banished spell card from your deck to your hand. So, if you used a Super Rush Headlong or something, you could banish it, or when this card is tribute summoned, you can banish it and add another one to your hand. How broken is that? How OP is that? This card looks really strong. And in combination with Treeborn Frog, you're kidding me. Oh man, we're looking at a new meta right now, and this is just crazy. Moving on from the whole, like, I guess from that little combo right there, we have a few more cards. I'm bouncing back and forth, trying to cover all the stuff that we can cover. We are getting some more ninjutsu stuff, or the ninja support. We are looking at a trap card called Ninjutsu Art of Transformation. Now, this card is a UR, and it does support the whole ninja archetype. And basically what this card does, which I think this is a pretty good card, its effect is stating, activate this card by tributing one face-up ninja monster you control, or just a face-up ninja monster. It doesn't have to be a monster you control, apparently. Yeah, you just activate by tributing a face-up ninja monster. Special summon one beast, wing beast, or insect type monster from your hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to the level of the tributed monster had on the field, +3. If that wording kind of escapes you, it's basically you can tribute a ninja. I mean, we don't have a lot of ninjas. We have a lot of like level 1 or 2 ninjas that are like really weak ninjas, and it lets you special summon any beast, wing beast, or insect from your deck onto the field, and as long as it has pretty much, let's say if you tributed a level 1 ninja, add 3 to it, and you can special summon I guess a level 4 or lower, which I mean it's kind of interesting. It's crazy. But yeah, but the only thing is when this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. So it is tied with that monster. But I mean, Ninja's got some crazy support. This trap looks pretty good. Moving on, another card on here called Chiron the Mage. It's an 1800 4-star Earth Beast Warriors, and its effect does state, once per turn, it's not just once, it's just once per turn, you can discard a spell card, target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy that target. You can destroy spell or traps with this card by pitching spells. This is good. I can definitely see why it has its UR status. We're also going to go ahead and look at more ritual support, and this card is called Shinato, King of a Higher Plane. So, alright, so we're looking at a really, really strong ritual monster. 3300 ritual to be exact. It's an 8-star, and I'm going to go ahead and read its effect. This card can only be ritual summoned by the ritual spell card Shinato's Arc. You must also tribute basic stuff. You got to tribute monsters equal to level 8 or more from the field. So basic ritual shenanigans. Now, its effect does state, when this card destroys a defense position monster and sends it to the graveyard as a result of battle, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to the original attack of the destroyed monster. This card is crazy. Oh man, I think this is becoming like the best ritual monster in the game. The effect basically says if your opponent's gonna play in defense, it's gonna stop them, and it's gonna burn them to death with their by throwing their monsters at them. If they play an attack, they're gonna get run over with that 3300 attack. But we do have a lot of cards like Super Rush Headlong, Mirror Wall, and stuff like that. So I don't know how viable it's gonna be, especially since you have to put so much effort into summoning it. but I don't know, only time will tell. It looks really, really strong though. And moving on, the next card we're going to be looking at is a pretty interesting card. It's a card called Thunder Nyan Nyan. Now this card is old. I gotta say, this card I remember seeing when I was a kid. It's a 1900 light 4-star Thunder monster, and basically just states, if its effect does state, if there's a non-light monster on your side of the field, destroy this face-up card. If you play it in a light deck, well, you just got a free 1900 beater. It's crazy. And speaking of the Thunder support, we also have some, I also saw an SR called Judgment of the Thunder that works really well with it. Judgment of Thunder is a trap card that basically states when you summon a Thunder monster on your side of the field, basically flip this card over and destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, you can make like a whole little archetype with triple Nyan Nyan and their little just 1900 beatdowns, and of course with Judgment of Thunder, pretty much destroying your opponent's stuff. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, it just destroys a card your opponent controls. It doesn't have to be face up, face down, monster, spell trap. It could just be a card. So I think that's really strong. Looking at like a Thunder type deck with all them being light types. Maybe the Hunders or the Paw Hunter, Maw Hunter, all them. Maybe this card might be a pretty good addition to them. So moving on, but the next card is called Mecha Phantom Beast Hamstrat, and it's a plane. It's a big old luxury cruise airline or whatever. I don't know if they're introducing the whole Mecha Phantom Beast archetype, but I think that archetype revolves around tokens and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and read its effect, so you guys can go ahead and judge it yourself. When this card is flipped face up, so you gotta flip it. I don't know if you gotta flip it yourself or it could be attacked. Special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. They're gonna be machine type, wind, level 3, attack 0/0. And this card's level is increased by the total levels of all Mecha Phantom Beast tokens you control. So you're gonna have this card and its 2 tokens pretty much clogging up your whole field. And this guy's gonna take the levels of the other 2, so it's gonna be a level 9 possibly. That's kind of crazy. Alright, but aside from that, it's increased by the number of the tokens. And on top of that, while you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. You contribute 1 token, then target 1 Mecha Phantom Beast monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. That's what I'm saying. Are we going to get a whole Mecha Phantom Beast archetype? And if so, they're probably going to be rares, because of the way it looks like, because I'm not seeing many Mecha Phantom Beasts on here. So we might be getting Mecha Phantom Beasts in the new set. And it does let you just special summon it, and you can only use the effect of Mecha Phantom Beast Hamstrat once per turn. So this is going to be like the key card in a Mecha Phantom Beast archetype. And I mean, I think that's why they put it as a UR. I mean, definitely keep your eye on this card. I mean, especially if we start getting a lot of cool Mecha Phantom Beast support. I mean, they never really did anything in the TCG, except for their XCs. I think, what was it, Draco Sack? That card was really, really good for a while, but it's really expensive too. But that's not in the game right now, so nothing to worry about there. Alright, moving on, and the one I did leave for last, I want to talk about this one. We got the XYZ Dragon Cannon, and I'm not sure if we're going to be getting more like of the rare fusions, because I know there's a lot more fusions of these guys. There's like XY or ZY or whatever. There's a bunch of different combinations of them, and if we had like a whole fusion deck with all these different combinations, I think that would be pretty cool. And its effect does state it needs a X head cannon, Y dragon head, and Z metal tank to be fused or whatever. You don't need polymerization with this guy, so that's pretty cool. It says it must first be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. You do not need polymerization. Okay, so this card cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. You can discard 1 card and then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy that target. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. This card does look pretty interesting because of the fact that it just destroys things. And if it had like a whole archetype, that would be amazing. So far, we're only seeing this one as a UR. None of the other ones, I'm not seeing anything else as an SR or anything. but it might be an archetype, and if so, I'm actually looking forward to it. I would love to run this deck. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I know in the TCG, I think this deck had a lot more support, and they were wrecking. XYZs were wrecking. I think they're called ABCs. Yeah, they're ABCs in the TCG, and they were really, really strong. I don't know if we're going to get any of those, but this guy looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. Alright, but moving on, we did cover the URs. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the SRs that are standing out. Some of the SRs that I'm looking at, I'm going to try to go over these a little bit quicker because they're just kind of interesting, but let's go ahead and then go over the first one. I'm seeing a card called Double Magical Arm Bind, which is a card that basically, it's kind of like Magic, Magic Arm Shield, but this one is basically, you can use it whenever, and you can tribute 2 monsters and take control of your opponent's, or 2 of your opponent's monsters. I don't know how useful that's going to be, since you do have to give up 2 monsters. I mean, I can definitely see it being usable, but the conditions are kind of situational. You have to have 2 monsters on the field, your opponent's got to have 2 monsters on the field, and then you can activate this card and take the monsters till the end phase. I don't know how good it's going to be, but it does look interesting. So let's see. Moving on, the next card I'm looking at is a card called Soul Transition. It is a trap card, and let's go ahead and read its effect. And it does state, if you control no special summon monsters, tribute 1 face-up level 4 normal summon or set monster, draw 2 cards. So in kind of a deck that doesn't special summon, it adds a little bit of draw power, but you do have to tribute a level 4 normal monster, or a level 4 normal summon monster. You can only activate 1 Soul Transition per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card. So in a deck that focuses around normal summoning, I think this card might be interesting, but I don't know if it's going to beat out some of the support we already have. More Ice Barrier support. We're looking at General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. Now, this guy looks more like a boss monster than the other guy. The other guy has basically the ability to make your opponent pay a cost for activating monster effects. This guy's got a pretty cool monster effect of his own. This guy's effect basically states, once per turn during your end phase, you can select and special summon 1 Ice Barrier monster from your graveyard, except for himself, or cards of his name, General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. Which, I mean, this guy is a 2700 monster, but you do have to normal summon it. I don't see a way to special summon this guy right off the bat. It is a warrior, but I don't know. We might be seeing it getting some play in some decks, but I want to see how this guy's going to be used. Obviously, you can use it to special summon the other boss guy, I guess the 2100 guy, and that could be a thing. But we've got some ice barriers, some new meta. Alright, but moving on. Alright, next card I'm looking at is a card called Machina Peacekeeper. Now, this is another one of those Union support cards. I think this one is basically good because of the effect where it can, if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can pretty much search a Union monster from your deck and add it to your hand. And it also has the effect to be a Union, which you can equip it to 1 machine type monster you control. So you can equip to that target or unequip this card to special summon in face of attack position, and when it is destroyed, I think if it's pretty much sent to the grave as a card. It doesn't have to be a monster, it can be equipped and you can destroy it, destroy the monster or whatever. It gets its effect. So it's a search card for Union. So I think this card's an SR. It doesn't look very intimidating. It's obviously really weak. It's 500, 400, level 2. But I mean, it's a searcher, and I think that's pretty cool. It's an SR for Unions. Moving on, we got some, I guess, more dark support. This card is called Gen X Ally Power Cell, and I mean, it's a 1700 4-star. I mean, it's a machine, but it is dark. So this guy, I mean, it is a 1700 beater, so that's kind of cool. But it does have a really interesting effect, basically stating, other face-up monsters you control with the same attribute as this card gain 500 attack. If you can run it in a dark deck, it would be pretty strong. It would make all your dark monsters 500 attack stronger. I'm definitely seeing that this card would be pretty good. But It is a new SR that's being added. We're finally getting a lot of level 4, 17, 1800, 1900 beaters with cool effects. But yeah, moving on. Next thing I'm going to be looking at is a card called Tiger Dragon. This card is interesting because of its effect. It's a 2400 6-star dragon type, but if you run it in a dragon deck, I think that's where this card shines. Its effect basically states, when this card is tribute summoned by tributing a dragon type monster, you can target up to 2 face down spell or trap cards your opponent controls, destroy those targets. Looks like it's a really cool card because of that back row hate, but they do have to be face down though, so that is the kind of, I mean, it looks strong. Because either way you're getting a 2400 monster, so you're getting that 2400 beater for tributing a dragon or whatever, and you can destroy face down spell or trap cards your opponent controls. I don't know if it works in a way where if they chain like a mirror wall, it won't destroy it, but I don't know. This looks like a really good card. Moving on, next thing we're looking at is a card that I saw called Herald of Creation. Level 4, 1800 spellcaster. So everybody's getting an 1800 beater. So spellcasters finally got their 1800 beater. This one, on the other hand, has a really cool effect. Its effect is once per turn, you can discard a card, then target 1 level 7 or higher monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. I like this card, to be honest. I think if we can make a legit like chaos archetype, maybe with like a BLS type thing, we can make this work. We can definitely get this guy to work. And I don't know, I say guy, but I don't know if it's male or female. Everything's covered up. I think this card is pretty cool and it looks like a really good SR. So moving on, we got some more of that ninja support. I did talk about that ninja trap that we were seeing, that it was a UR, but now we're looking at a level 4 1800 warrior ninja. So even they're getting an 1800, and it is a ninja, so like I said, it works well with the other traps, so that's where it comes from. So you can basically summon up to a level 7 card with the other one, so definitely looks pretty cool. And this guy it does have an effect. The effect does state, at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a face-up defense position monster, destroy that monster. So if your opponent's got like a big monster in defense, Labyrinth Wall for example, it'll just destroy it without applying damage calc. We're getting a lot of those 4-star 1800 monsters, and it looks like Duel Links is just stepping up. Everything's getting stronger. But I think this card looks pretty cool. I think this would be a staple in the ninja deck, since most of the ninjas we have right now are pretty weak. Moving on to the next card, we're looking at some more spirit support. This card's called Hinokagutsuchi, and it looks really strong. I think we finally got some of that spirit boss monster, I guess, love. So it is pretty much a 2800 pyro spirit monster. It is huge. It's 8-star, and its effect does state, this card cannot be special summoned. Of course, it is a spirit. A lot of spirits can't be special summoned. This card returns to the owner's hand during the end phase because it's a spirit. This card is cool because of its effect that does state, if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, direct or running over one of their monsters, which is really strong, so it should be able to do, they discard all cards in their hand during the next draw phase before they draw. How crazy is that? That's like the ultimate plus. It's I don't know, this one and the next spirit we're gonna be talking about, they're both really crazy. It's like this guy is basically here to make your opponent minus hardcore, and I think the next guy is kind of the opposite. But this guy looks pretty cool. It's 2800. We finally got that spirit support. Alright, moving on from that one, we're gonna go on to the next spirit. It is called Yamada Dragon. Now, this card is a 2600, still a fire though, but we were looking at a 2600 dragon spirit, and of course the spirit, it's a spirit, so it's got that same effect. Cannot be special summoned. Card returns to the owner's hand during the end phase when it is normal or flipped. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, kind of like the other one, draw cards until you have 5 cards in hand. How freaking crazy is that? Both of these spirits are OP. I mean, sure, they gotta be OP because they're only on the field for 1 turn. But if you can pretty much set all your cards and then +5 with this guy, this card just looks really strong. We got that strong spirit support. So I mean, I don't know, take it as you will. I don't know if you're gonna say spirits are trash or whatever, but they don't have enough support. But yeah, those are the spirits. I think that's pretty much all the spirits for we're looking at. Moving on, we have some new field spells. So I'm gonna cover both of these pretty much at the same time. We're looking at two new field spells that more or less do the same exact thing. First one, we're looking at Mystic Plasma Zone, and the next one is called Luminous Spark. Now, these cards are both for dark and light respectively. So first one pretty much powers up all dark monsters on the field by 500 points, and I think they lose 400 defense. The other one is for light, and it's the exact same ability. This is kind of like the volcano card that we have for fires, where it powers them all up by 500, which I did want to make a deck on that, by the way. So I mean, we're finally getting these. I don't know if they're gonna be OP, like really broken or anything, but it is a 500 attack increase to all darks, which looks pretty strong. But it does power up all dark monsters, so even if your opponent's running darks, they're gonna get boosted too. So I don't know, take it as you will, but those are the new field spells, and I think they're pretty cool. I mean, sure, they might be kind of outclassed in the TCG since we're looking at, we didn't get like Necro Rally or anything like that, but I mean, we are getting those field spells that just kind of power up attack, so there's that. And I think that's pretty much most of the stuff. I think I've covered everything for the most part, and that's all of the URs and SRs. Now we do have all the rares and normal monsters, which I know nothing about because I haven't seen the list. I actually don't want to look them up. I do not want to look them up. I want those, at least those, to be a surprise. Because just from piecing things together, I can tell we might be getting more ninja support. We might be getting maybe some more spirit support. We're most definitely going to be getting all the XYZ tanks and dragon heads and all those guys. We're definitely going to be getting those. Those are probably going to be rares. And I don't know, we're probably going to be getting a lot of dark support. And I think we're going to be getting a lot of some machine support as well, since it goes with the box set. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Have a great day and see you guys.